Hello guys, hi everybody. This side Basavaraj here. Yeah, so today's main agenda is we will be learning that does price action works in the market or is this a really hype up or something like that? Okay. So yep. So basically, yeah, what is price action? So if you ask me what is price action, see, we will be only looking at the what you say candlestick or chart patterns, and according to that, we will be taking trades here. Okay, so according to that, we will be taking trades over here. So that does this really work? If you ask me personally, yeah, definitely it will work. Why? Because I mainly rely on price action only. Okay, so price action. If you ask me in the first minute only, I will clear you to that out. It will work or it will not work. Yeah, it will work. It's all about your perspection, how you're thinking, how you're anticipating. Okay, according to that, how you're planning your trades. Okay, so that is how it depends. Okay, so price action works. Okay, what is price action? Simply I told you now. So we will be observing the price. Okay, where are the zones, where are the demand, supply, okay, support and resistance. Okay, everything. So if you ask me in the layman language, Basavaraj, what is support and resistance? It is very simple. Okay, it is very simple. See, for example, now if I'm standing, just a minute. Okay, so for example, if I'm standing in a room, okay, if I'm standing in a room, so basically this will be a floor for me. Okay, so this will be a floor for me, and this will be a ceiling for me. Okay, see here what happens, if I'm putting my full pressure, okay, full effort, if I'm jumping from here, so the maximum point I can reach is that the ceiling, correct? So the maximum point I can reach is like this ceiling. So this becomes a resistance for me. Okay. So for example, from there, if I'm following, okay, if I'm falling, so the maximum, okay, if I'm falling from there, the maximum fall will be this one. So this becomes a support for me. So this is a simple a support and a resistance, you can say. Okay. So according to this, what we will try to do is like we will try to see how many times I'm doing this thing. So that means this is a very solid support for me. Can I break this one? Okay, so then it makes a very big effort for me. Can I break this one? That's a very big effort. So what I can do is like I can take a staircase and I go for the next floor. So if I am standing here now in the next floor perspective, so now what happens? So I will be getting one more ceiling here, and this ceiling becomes a floor for me here. Correct? So if I'm jumping from here again, so this will become a what for me? This will become a resistance, and this is a ceiling. So what happens here? The resistance becomes support here. Okay, and we got a new resistance here. We got a new resistance here. So this is how it changes. So for example, from there, if I'm directly coming here, so that is I'm going for a basement over here. Okay. So if I'm standing here, so this support will act as what now? It will act as a resistance for us. Okay, and this we will be getting a new support over here. So this is how it works basically. Okay, this is how it works. So does it work? Yeah, it works. See, first of all, in market now everything works. Okay, first of all, in market everything works. So we need to uh, fix that, or we need to give a good conviction to our mind that okay, this will be working for us. Okay, this will be working. So you draw whatever you want. So these all stuff will be working for you. Okay, so try to believe that. Okay, so now so I will try to teach you. There are types of support and resistance. Okay, how to draw them, how to utilize them. Okay, in a layman language, I will try to teach you. Okay, so in a layman language, I will try to teach you. So, how many types of support and resistance are there? If you ask me in the market, how many types of support and resistance are there in the market? There are four types. There are what? Basically, there are four types of support and a resistance in the a market. Okay, there are four types of support and resistance in the a market. Okay. So, what are the four types of support and resistance here? Okay. So, the first one, if you ask me, that is basically a dynamic. What is that? Dynamic support and a resistance over here. That is dynamic support and resistance over here. So what is dynamic? Anybody heard about this dynamic? Anybody heard about this dynamic? It's a very simple one. Okay. So dynamic means, so this guy will not be stable in the nature, but still act as a support and resistance to us here. Okay. So this is not a stable, but still act as a support and resistance for us. Okay. For example, what? For example, anybody, so most of people will be hearing this one. That is moving average, correct? Moving average. So in moving average perspective, you can think this as a dynamic support and resistance. Okay. A VWAP, that is volume weighted average price. Yeah, this will also act as what? This will also act as a dynamic support and resistance. So yeah, definitely I will show you how does it look like in the market. Okay, so how does it act as a support and resistance? Okay, everything I will try to show. So I will try to show you in the live only. Okay, so here now the our market is off. So still our market is there. So if you ask me, like MCX market is there. So what I can do is like I can go for the MCX market and let me open a gold chart here. Okay. So this is basically a gold chart for you. Okay. So here what we need to do is like if I want to see a dynamic support and resistance, I will just need to go here and just need to type. So moving average. So if I type moving average over here, so you can see here, okay, I have so many moving averages. Let me delete one. So let me open here. Okay. So now I will go for a smaller time frame perspective to showcase you that does it really work or not work. Okay. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So now, so here, so I have just, okay. So we'll go for the smaller time frame perspective and we will see here, does it really work or not work? Okay. So what we will be trying to do is like, see, this is just a 20 moving average. See, according to the moving average, so the time frame also will change. Okay. So everything will change here. So if I'm going for 5 minutes, yeah, the 20 moving average will work. If you're going for a 4 hours, 20 moving average may not work here. So much efficient. So we should always know that at what time frame, what is working or what is not working. Okay, that is a major thing to understand first here. Okay, so now you see here, basically price started going upside this one. So basically here you can see this was acting as a support. So when there was a breakdown of this one, so it started acting as a resistance. So at resistance, you see again breakout, again a retest was happened here and price started giving a good momentum from here. Okay, you can see that. So this red line will be acting as a support for us now here. So why? Because it is below the price. Okay, it is basically below the price over here. Correct? So this red line will be acting as a support. So what is the ideal thing to do here? Okay, what is the ideal thing to do here basically? So we should try to see that if the price is whenever if it is going to this level. Okay, whenever the price is going to this level, so we should try to observe that we can see a bounce back from here. We can try to buy from here. Okay, so this will act as a support for us. So this is a dynamic support and resistance. See, it is completely changing and adapting in the nature, but still acts as a support and resistance in the market. See, if I'm changing this one to, for example, 50, so this may work more efficient for you. See, yes or no? So this is how, according to the time frame, we need to change the moving averages over here. So we can get a better result over here. We can get what? Basically, we can get a better result here. So if we are getting any trades, we'll try to see and we'll try to take as well. Okay, here. So, yep, trades are running here. Fine. So now let us talk about what you say next type of support and resistance. Okay, so I guess you understood this one. That is a dynamic support and resistance. Dynamic means moving average. So you can basically put VWAP as well. Okay, so let me show you VWAP as well. So volume weighted average price. See, this is how it looks. So in this thing, we need to just a minute. We need to off the middle one. Okay, so upper band and lower band we need to remove, and this one it is a VWAP for us. This is a VWAP for us. So in VWAP, there will be a volume plus price as well. So because of that, it will be considered as a dynamic support and resistance over here. Okay. So I guess you understood this one. So now, so we will be going for the next one. Just a minute. Yep. So VWAP and moving average you need to keep in the mind. So that are very important for us. So the second one is like basically I guess you heard about it. It's very common also. That is known as a structure support and resistance. What is that? There's a structure support and resistance. So structure support and resistance means what? In a layman language, it is a straight line. It is a basically a straight line. So now you may be thinking that Basavaraj straight line is a very difficult to draw in the market, correct? Why? Because market can be very much volatile or so. See, there is a thing called as round number psychology in the market. Okay, there's a thing called as round number psychology in the market. See, whenever if I'm planning for a trade, okay, so if I'm planning for a trade that, okay, so my profitable areas will be, I will think that's 1,000 rupees or 1,500 or 2,000. So this is how I think to book a profit. I never think like, okay, I need to book at 1,118 rupees here. Or like 1,216 rupees I need to book a profit. See, we never do this stuff. We always try to focus on the round numbers. So if you want to mark those round numbers, you can use this kind of a structure support and resistance. Or like if you want to mark a swing high or a swing low, okay, you can use a structure support and resistance. Or else if you want to mark a day high, a day low, okay, so these also you can this will also act as a support and resistance. Okay. See, in a layman language, it's just a straight line. Okay. And a psychological round number also you can mark over here. So now one more thing I want to tell you is like say how to use this structure support and resistance and mark a support and resistance under 20 seconds. So how we can do that one? It is very simple. Okay. See, if you're planning for an intraday trade in like Nifty, Bank Nifty, or like a big stocks. Okay. Big stocks means I will be telling HDFC, ICICI, SBI, Kotak, Reliance, TCS. So if you're planning in these stocks, so I generally suggest you to uh, consider this a very good support and resistance. So what we can do is like simply yeah, take a three lines, okay, three horizontal line you consider, and you mark previous day high, previous day low, and previous day close. Previous day high, previous day close, and previous day low. So you mark these three levels. So these three levels will be acting very good in the intraday perspective. Okay, these three will be acting as a very important levels in the next day perspective. Okay, why am I not considering previous day open here? Okay, see, this is not literally in our control. Okay, these all are in our control. What is the meaning of this in our control means? See, in our control means so when the price opens, okay, we never know that it may be a gap up, gap down, flat, anything is a possible stuff here. So when it opens, so we think that price has started going upside, and we saw a solid resistance in the past days perspective, and we think that okay, this will act as a resistance and price started coming from and supply started, people started entering into this thing. So this is a controlled one. So previous day high is a controlled one. Okay, so it's a controlled one, and price started coming downside and we saw a good support level here, so this becomes a previous day low. So from here it started pushing up, so wherever it is closing, so that means this is also is a controllable, that is previous day close. So this is also what basically this is also a controlled one. So I'm not considering previous day open. Okay. So you can think of like this. So if you want even bigger support and resistance, these are very simple. You just try it out in the live market. Okay. You just try it out in the live market. It will be very good for you. Okay. Whenever market approaches at this level, you just try to think of taking a trade. And everybody know that in the market, what happens basically, you will be getting a trade or a momentum in a major level only. Correct. You will be getting a trade or a momentum in a major level only. So focus on major levels. So in intraday perspective, these are the major levels. These are what? These are the major levels. So if you want even bigger major level, but these will may come, may not come in the intraday perspective. That was like previous day, sorry, previous week. Okay, previous week high and previous week low. So close you can take, you may not take. That's completely fine. So high and low are a very huge, what you said, demand and supply areas, okay, or liquidity areas. So even bigger you want, you can go for previous month high and previous month low. So this is also preferable. So these all stuff also you can use. So under just 20 seconds, you can mark this all support and resistance, and these will be working wonders in the market. Okay. So this will be working wonders in the market. So let me show you how to mark structure, support, and resistance. See, you may see this is my chart only. So let me show you my chart. How to see so many structure, support, and resistance. So many structure, support, and resistance. So I will tell you one day this strategy. What is this so many lines? How to use this so many lines? Okay. So definitely I will tell you about the strategy as well. Okay. So not now. So if you are seeing a rejections point for somewhere, so you can mark a like structure and support and resistance. See the round number. I have marked 4,000 as a round number over here. Okay, so you can see a 4,000 and 4,010. I have marked this by mistake. It came 4,000, 4,010 over here. So I have marked a round number. See, again, I have marked here exactly price started reversing from this level only. So I have marked the 33. So why here? I will tell you that one. Okay. So 33, we can started seeing a rejections level from there. Correct. So this is how it flawlessly it works. So you should be knowing how to mark them. So you need to practice a lot to mark a structure, support, and resistance over here. Okay. So everywhere. So if you want a tip over here, so you try to mark in a bigger time frame perspective. Okay, you just try to mark what in a bigger time frame perspective. So that is like higher time frame for 4 hour, 1 hour, and 15 minutes, high 5 minutes. So you just try to take a trade in a smaller time frame perspective. Okay. So this is how a structure support and a structure resistance looks like. Okay, these all will work. Okay, these all will basically work. You need to only wait for the major levels to come into the market, and don't draw too much so that you will get confused. See, if you ask me, Vasaraj, you only have drawn too much. This is not too much for me. Okay, why? Because every level I know that, okay, I will be targeting a small. So 10 points, 10 points are these points. Okay, these levels. You see, so if I'm getting entry, I will be easily achieving my targets over here. Okay. So if it is like very much this thing, this is a consolidation area for me. Okay. So this, according to this only, I will be planning my trades and everything. Okay. So if you ask me, let me show you. See, in a major level only, I will be planning for a trade here. Okay. So in my levels only, whenever market is approaching, I will be thinking of taking a trade over here. See, I need a major level in the market, then only I will take a trade. That these are all basically a major level for me. So yeah, I will teach you the strategy in the upcoming sessions as well. Okay. See, every trade, whatever I'm trying to show you, these all basically are in my levels only. Okay. I have a restricted time area. On the time area only, I will be taking a trade. So many others. Here, here, that level is there, but I removed probably here. See, so many others. Here was my level, but it didn't give. Here, everywhere. Okay, a lot of are there. So these all are basically a structure, support, and resistance. Okay, it works very flawlessly, but you need to know that exactly when to do it. Okay, when to utilize it. So that is a major thing here. We need to understand. Okay, I guess is this clear for you? So now so I told you now one more tip. I told you that thing is like you try to utilize this all stuff in what in a bigger time frame perspective first. That you go for mark and 5 4 hours, 1 hour, and then you can come and you can see over here. So it will work wonders for you. Okay. So now The next one perspective is like you can think of the third one is basically zones. What is that? Basically zones. So in zones, we have again two things over here. So what is the two thing? Anybody can text me and tell me over in the chats. Anybody heard about this? Anybody know about this one? What are the two types of zones over here? Heard about it? Anybody? So basically, it's a demand and supply zones. Demand and basically a supply zones for us. Demand and supply zones. Okay. So now we learned about a structure support and resistance and a dynamic support and resistance. Correct. So when the price is traveling like this, okay. So I can't technically mark this whole things, right? This whole thing I can't mark like this, correct? So it will be very headache. So what we will do is like we will mark this as an entire as a zone. So we'll mark this as what? Entire zone over here. So if this is in above, it is in a top. Okay, we will be calling this as a what? We will be calling this as a supply zone. We will be calling this as a supply zone. Okay, if the same stuff is coming in the bottom over here. Okay, if the same stuff is coming in the bottom. So we will be calling this as a what? A demand zone over here. Okay, we will be calling this as a demand zone. See how to draw a zone. It's a very simple thing. So wherever you see a consolidation, you can mark this as a zone. Price will try to respect it. Okay, price will try to do what? It will try to respect it. Okay, so you should always know that whenever there is a consolidation, you try and mark it as a zone. So if you are marking in a 5 minutes perspective, the information is very small. That much only it may work. Okay, if you're marking in a 4 hour a zone, so this may work for a very long term perspective. So this is how it works, zones. Okay, so let me show you how does it looks and how to mark them. Okay, so if you ask me here, see here there is a small zone going on here. See which is the zone. So you take a rectangle over here. So this is a technically a zone here. So market is in a zone. So whenever market is approaching a zone, so we should try to avoid a trade over here. See, it has consolidated for so long period over here and so many rejection point, but not in an accurate level. Correct? So from here, there, here, there, here, there, so many rejection points. Yes or no? So whenever market is approaching in a outside zone, then only we can approach it. Then only we can take a trade over here. That is when only we can think of taking a trade here. Correct? So this is how basically it works. This is how basically it works. So if you want to mark again zone, so if you are getting, what if you're getting a very much zone everywhere, you're getting a zone like this. Okay, so try to avoid this. Okay, or like if you're planning a trade after the zone entry areas or something like that, the target should be good for you. Okay, it should not like that. Everything should stuck in a this zone only, something like that. Okay, so if I'm taking a trade over here, okay, if I'm taking a trade over here, thinking that it will reject from here and start coming down. So if you're targeting till here, okay, so that's completely fine. You should not target for a bigger target. Why? Because it can reverse from anytime, anywhere here. Okay, first of all, you try to take a trade after the zone or like a up below the zone. That is when it will be very good for. Otherwise, it will try to do the same drama. Why? Because people have entered at this area in the last, if you see. Okay, they started betting that it will go up, this betting that go down. So this all stuff we're going on here, right? The same set of people will start coming here, or different set of people who thought that we need to enter at this level, and they start try to take control of the market over here. Okay, so always wait, try not to take a trade in the zone. If the zone is very big, so you approach in the top, exit in the bottom. This stuff you can do. Okay, generally this works. So zones are very good. Always try to focus on little bit zone where the market is consolidating. If you see, I will be taking trades in a daytime time perspective, if you know me. So here You can see in Nifty chart, I will be marking very, very big zones. Why? Because out of the money, both side I can sell and I can try to collect premium out of it. Correct. So these are the big zones. So now see this zone I have drawn here. Okay. So I'm expecting that market will be approaching this levels in the upcoming. Correct. So this also it's creating a kind of a zone here. So many days it is kind of a sustaining over here. No. See, market started rallying and it didn't respected this zone. So this is what I'm thinking that it will try to come back to this zone. That is 25,400 level back. Okay. This is what I'm thinking here. Correct. Okay, so always zone will try to respect. So see, this is a very big zone. So market is was in a zone for a very long time. Okay, so zones are very important in the market. Mark them according to and trade them. Okay, so again we'll go back to the gold. So we can see that what's going to happen here. Okay, this is a demand zone here. Why? Because price is coming from top, okay, to bottom. So this becomes a demand zone. If the price was approaching from the top, so bottom, it becomes a supply zone over here. So you saw the supply, it started coming down. So then again, it started approaching here. Okay, so this is what happens here. So we will see and we will look into it. Okay, so this is basically known as what? This is basically known as a, a demand and a supply zone. So wherever you see in short note, if I'm going to repeat it, wherever you see a small consolidation, try to mark them. Consolidation, try to mark them. Correct? This is what we need to do here. Understood? So here. So the last one, but a very important one. The last one, but a very, very important one. That is trend line support and resistance. A trend line support and resistance. So market now always try to leave a trend behind. Okay, market always try to okay, leave a trend behind. So how to mark a trend line? See, there are some rules to identify and keep in the mind. So whenever you're drawing a trend line, the trend line should not be more than like declined or inclined more than 45-degree. Okay. See here, if I'm drawing a trend line, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. How to get to know that it is 45-degree or more than less on? So you need to keep this is a right angle triangle kind of a stuff. If you want to draw from here, you keep it and you just see in middle between. Okay, it is a very decent decline. Okay, and don't do like this also. So what if I do charts like this and I draw a trend line? So do you look at this chart like this? Then you draw, it may work for you. Okay. So I don't look chart like this. I look in a decent manner so that candles can also can be observed over here. Correct. So just a minute. So this is how I see a chart over here. So if I'm drawing from here, so working of this is very high chances. And see one, twice, okay, thrice if it's coming here, any rejection points from these levels, like here we got an engulfing pattern. So we can think of a small risk over here and we can think of taking a trade from here. Correct. So this is how it works. So here you are seeing, okay, so here you are seeing a trend line. So many trend lines are there. Market generally try to work in a trend line perspective and it gives you a trend line perspective. Yesterday I took a trade in a gold, so that it was itself is it was a trend line. You see, so market was continuously in a downside trend, and when it changed this thing, that is where exactly I took a trade, and we got a kind of a retest over there. That is a doji candle. So that is where I entered in the market. Okay, so now I targeted these areas. So why? Because I saw a zone over here. You see, price consolidated over here. No? So I thought that okay, it may again do the same stuff. Why to take risk till this zone? This is basically this is also a zone only. So I need to take a risk to that zone. So let me exit in this. And see, this is also 1 is to 4.2. It's a very big risk reward. That's completely fine. See, that zone started continuing. Still it is continuing. See, I'm not doing anything. Okay. See, till now the zone is there in the market. Correct. So this is how it works. Zone, once it is created a zone here, so this zone probably can be from the past level. You see, so this is how everything is literally connected over here. Any entry in the gold? Yeah, definitely. Not now. I'm just trying to see here. Let me check any entry points for me. If gold is approaching at like 32 or like 44 from here, a small 1 is to 2, that is like a 10-point reversal, I can think of taking a trade. Okay, so it's kind of a literally a bullish area only. So otherwise, if I'm getting again at a 4011 or so 4020, okay, in a rejection point, I may try to take a trade over here again. Okay, either this bounce back or continuation trade I need, or like here as like I told you 45, 50 level, a supply, that kind of a trade I need here. So I can see so many times it got a rejections at this level. So this you can see. So yep, I may think of these trades. So let it go until these levels 50, 50, this level. If I'm getting anything, so I may think of taking a trade over here. Okay, so let it approach. Let me see in the market. So in these levels, I may think of selling it. Okay. So otherwise market approach here. So if it is coming back to like again I told you now like 2025 level. So at this level, okay. So then I can think of taking again trade over here in a continuation manner. Okay. So trend line, it's a very good one. Okay. It works flawlessly in the market. But you need to be very patiently, you need to be waiting in the market. Then only you can try to think of taking a trade. Okay. So uptrend was going on, shift of the downtrend. Correct. See from here you can perspective again think of so many trends are going on. Correct. So if you ask me where is now current trend, so we have very far here. Okay. So according to that you can trade. So see it feels you very easy. So why? Because I'm drawing like anything. So when you try to draw in your charts, no, it is very, very difficult. Okay, okay, it's very tough. Okay, we will understand that time. So now, like you need to practice a lot and see, you feel this like it's a very thing, easy thing, I can do it. Mind is not designed like that. Okay, easy, it will never accept. So we need to give a good conviction to mind that telling that, okay, it will definitely work. It will definitely work. Then only you can take a trade, believing on that. Otherwise, it won't take a trade here. Yes or no? So some two trades are running in Ethereum and BTC. Okay. Okay, I guess you understood. So that is how it works. So what all things we have learned basically, types of support and resistance. Yeah, if you ask me price action works, definitely price action works. Okay. It is all about levels. People will be waiting for the levels to achieve in the market. That is when they try to take a trade over here. Okay. That is when they will try to take a trade over here. Okay. So price action will work. Okay. Until people are believing on that one. Okay, now on top of that, we understood that types of support and resistance and how to draw them, how to utilize them. That is, first one is like basically dynamic, and second one is structure. Third one is zones. Under that, demand and supply zone, and the fourth one is basically what again? A trend line. Okay, a trend line. So in trend line, it should be not more than 45 degree or less than this thing. If you're doing in inverse proportion, so it's going to be decent amount of incline or a decline, so that it may work in the chart. Okay, don't draw like this. Like don't draw like this. So thinking that it is a trend line, it may not work for you. Okay, so draw a decent amount of trend line, which will definitely work over there. And then we understood that how to draw a support and resistance in just 20 seconds. So simply you can mark previous day high low close or like weekly high weekly low, monthly high monthly low. So whenever price approaches over there, no, definitely you can see a momentum. Okay, according to that momentum, you can think of taking a trade over here. Correct. So this is how it works. I guess you understood. So yep. Thank you for attending. So we can wind up over here.